back with you tonight, and thanks for staying on. Let's begin here now. The City of Johannesburg has allocated nearly 200 million rands to fix the Lilian Ngoyi Street in the central business district, which was rocked by an underground blast in July. One person died and over 40 others were injured in the incident, which took place near Bree Taxi Rank during peak hour traffic. Joburg Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda joins us now for more on that. Good evening, Mayor, and thank you very much for coming on this evening. It's taken 5 months at least, or maybe just a little bit more to get to this point. Why so long?
Good evening, Tabo, to you and your viewers. You would understand that we have to adhere to legislative requirements, especially when it comes to procurement processes, taking into account that our initial application to declare the site a disaster have not yet been approved. So we needed to follow due processes within the legislative frameworks to repurpose certain budgets that will enable us to begin the construction prior to us receiving a response from other spheres of government in relation to that. So it has in fact taken a very speedy period for it to be approved and for it to get to this point. Ordinarily, it would have taken longer to be able to follow due process and be able to appoint a contractor and have them on the ground ready to do the work.
Now, last time you were here, we were trying to still ascertain exactly what could have caused the blast. Are we now clear on those investigations that this will be prevented from happening in the future?
Yes, we are clear. And in fact, within the plans, we have made provision for adequate ventilation so that we do not find ourselves in a situation where we experience such a situation where natural gas forms over time because of measures that have been put in place to try and prevent theft and vandalism to city-owned or state-owned infrastructure. We have deployed smart means for us to be able to then have that ventilation in place.
Talk to us about some of the other design improvements that will be coming in as you are completing this repair.
Thank you very much. So, as cited earlier on, in fact, when the blast initially happened, we had indicated that this will not only, the scope is not only limited to the reinstatement of the surface of Bree Street, but it will also focus on public environmental upgrade within the precinct itself for the beautification of that part of the city. And this happens in collaboration and in partnership with property owners as well as businesses in and around the vicinity. This is the beginning, in fact, for us to begin redesigning and cleaning up the city of Johannesburg and focusing on pockets in and around the city as our area of focus, like the court precinct, the High Court precinct, just a block away from the blast radius will also be a focus area so that we can be able to try and restore the inner city to its former glory.
Yeah. Some of your critics have said this is not showing the degree of excellence that they would expect from the City of Johannesburg. 11 months to rebuild a piece of a street when your counterparts in other cities could have rebuilt a whole entire highway, at least that has been washed by floods, in 2 weeks. Why is it going to take so long to rebuild the street?
Thank you very much for that question. And in fact, I need to place emphasis on the fact that the infrastructure in the city of Johannesburg is unique. We have various tunnels that are beneath the surface, and the reconstruction is a parallel process to a continuous investigation so that we can be able to detect and to also prevent similar situations that might occur. We have cables that belong to various entities. We have City Power Infrastructure, Joburg Water, telecom infrastructure, amongst others, including the tunnels and including the gas pipes that are underneath the surface of the roads themselves. So the the engineering and construction that is required for us to reinstate the inner city in particular is a complex one. And it's not like your ordinary highways where you would expect them to be concluded within a few weeks or three months as some would estimate.
Yeah. What are you going to do to secure the 200 million and ensure that the process, one, is transparent and that every cent goes where it's supposed to go and that we get value for money out of the money that is going to be spent?
So there'll be continuous oversight. The JRA is committed to ensure that not only do we push the contractor to move at a pace that will enable us to reach the targets that we've set for ourselves, but to report continuously on the progress and work that has been done so that we can be able to monitor and match that with the budget that has already been dispersed in order to, in the reinstatement of this particular road. So oversight would be at a maximum. Not just JRA as an entity, but the Department of Transport will be keeping a close eye, of which, of course, the entire mayoral committee will then, from time to time, be going to get reports directly and to be able to match the reports to the actual work that is being done on the ground. This is the area of focus, and this is an aspect that we, as the City of Johannesburg, would like to live up to the residents' expectation in terms of excellence in how we then reinstate Lilian Ngoyi and how we beautify it, because it's an opportunity for us to demonstrate the quality of the government that is in place at this point.
So you're saying one of the reasons why it would have taken us at least 5 months, which in your books is actually quite quick when compared to how long it would have taken to declare this a disaster area, to enable you to then reprioritize some of your budget. So which areas would then be reprioritized within the city's budget to be able to meet this 200 million?
So specifically, I can't tell you where we are taking them, but what I can assure you of, and as well as the listeners, is that we, in our previous budget, had projects that are dedicated to the inner city, the public infrastructure, the public environmental upgrades, as indicated, the precinct being one of them, the High Court precinct. So what we will do is to match the public environment upgrades to the work that is being done. So a certain portion of the budget will then be repurposed. But what that means is that the projects that will be reprioritizing budgets from would take longer than expected for us to be able to begin the work until such a time that the other spheres of government have satisfied themselves with our submission enough for them to allocate the funds that are required for us to then focus specifically on the blast area and Lilian Ngoyi and the resurfacing of that particular road. Yeah. But for now, we'll delay, let's say, a library for about a couple of months. We'll delay a public environmental upgrade that is in another area within the inner city for about a couple of months to give us leverage for us to be able to utilize those budgets whilst waiting for the injection from national government on the disaster declaration.
So you are saying you are relying on national releasing your infrastructure grant should you make a strong enough case in terms of the presentation that you're making around declaring the area a disaster area?
Yes, so when we fill in an application to declare a disaster, then national government intervenes with the budget that is required for us to respond. But during the course of that particular period, whilst they are satisfying themselves with our argument on why we have declared this particular event as a disaster, we have then undertaken to repurpose those budgets and delay certain projects over a certain period of time so that we can allocate those budgets for the project to commence in the immediate years. You
don't foresee unnecessary intergovernmental disputes coming and emerging out of this?
So I think in some of my engagements, in particular with the media, I have always indicated the fact that it's critical to maintain a healthy relationship with other spheres of government, as we, as the City of Johannesburg, have endeavored to do. We engage on a continuous basis on a wide variety of programs that we run in conjunction with other spheres of government. But as you would know, that it has to follow due process. It has to meet what would then be defined as a disaster for them to be able to release those grants. It would not be an issue of trying to prolong or trying to delay, but to ensure that we are compliant, not just from the part of the city, but also from provincial COGTA as well as National Treasury.
Yeah. So in terms of then the province, the last time I had a conversation with them, Treasury in the province said all the projects now that, for example, the City of Johannesburg would embark on and other cities within the Gauteng province would be done in conjunction with that particular department in terms of monitoring and the setting of targets to say, well, you're saying you're starting the project now. At 3 months, it needs to have fulfilled 1, 2, and 3 in order for Treasury to release a tranche of money. And if it's not there, it's got to be given a clear enough reason why it's not there, or otherwise more funds will not be released. How are you going to handle that situation?
I think it is prudent for other spheres of government to conduct oversight on that level. As you would know, municipalities would struggle in terms of skills, in terms of the appointment of the right contractor, depending on the type of project that has been embarked on by a municipality. However, that oversight is limited because municipalities are creatures of statutes. So provincial and national spheres of government would also have to be compliant in the manner in which that oversight is conducted over municipalities. Ours is to ensure that we demonstrate the fact that the City of Johannesburg is a government at work, and it is a government that is committed to ensuring that we restore the city to its former glory, or even make it better than it was. So we welcome the relationship, we welcome the oversight, and we welcome the scrutiny that is required for there to be absolute transparency on every level. And we are prepared to be compliant with them in that regard.
Let's talk about the construction mafia challenges. I mean, are you foreseeing any of that? How are you guaranteeing the local content in the work that is going to be done in the city?
It's the construction mafia is a problem or a challenge that is facing the country in its entirety. So for us, we have engaged with the stakeholders within the affected area and the inner city in its entirety. I'm scheduled to sit in a inner city partnership forum that is a forum that constitutes of all the stakeholders. And in that particular forum, I will then begin to propose an approach that can be used in order for us to prevent such elements from obstructing the progress of not just this project, but many other projects that the city intends to implement in the near future.
Mayor, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That's the Mayor of the City of Johannesburg there, Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda on the